Sit-ups don't burn belly fat. No exercise burns fat. I have a few videos I'll take a look at here and go through things people don't talk about. And we keep going back to old school mentality when it comes to exercises and burning fat. No, exercises don't burn fat. Anyways, let's get into it.
What's up, everybody? It's Meredith Circus Hill Training, and I'm super excited to give you this seated belly fat blasting workout. It's going to be awesome. It's low impact, high rewards. You guys know the drill. I'm going to go through all the exercises. We're going to do it together.
Do you really think by doing all of that you lose your big gut? Be honest. Does it seem too good to be true? Because if it seems too good to be true, because that's a lie. I'm here to give you the truth, not what you want to hear.
If you're doing these sit-ups to lose that belly fat, cut it out this instead. You ever notice guys who can do hundreds to thousands of sit-ups never have abs? That's because sit-ups don't even work your abs. They work your hip flexors.
Even if they did work your abs, sit-ups by itself does not burn fat. It doesn't. You can do a million. It's not gonna do it. Anyways.
Instead, focus on moves that actually work the and deactivate the hips. One of my for the abs is called the Roman chair sit-up. All you need for this is either a box, a bench. You can use your fucking couch at home or even a chair. It's no excuse. You can do it anywhere. What we're gonna do is basically face a wall so that I can push my feet against the wall and anchor myself so that my legs don't slide back and forth. What you wanna do is actually position your butt at the edge.
When you think about everyone that has abs, do you ever see them doing this exercise? Be honest. The thing I don't like about short form content is it doesn't give you all the details you need to know to get the result. It gives you what you need to hear, when you want to hear it, how you want to hear it, but it doesn't give you the full details. I hope to do that this video. By the time this video ends, I hope I've given you that.
Edge of the chair. That way, you're actually deactivating the hip flexors and putting all attention on the abs. Now
that's a good point, though. A lot of ab exercises, people are basically working out their hip flexors based on how they're doing it. If you're not doing it in the correct form, you're not hitting your abs. That's very true. And one that comes to mind is the leg raise that people do. They're just swinging their legs up and down, not really targeting the core. Knee raise is another one, and the sit-ups he showed before showing this one, it's another one. People are doing the movement incorrectly, working the muscle that isn't what they want.
We just cross arms, lean back, and you'll notice you'll get some tension around the abs here. Then once I get here, what I want to do is I want to crunch over, actually create a break in 90.
Okay, I got one more, and then we'll get into my points. Let's see.
You want to elevate your ab game and stop doing sit-ups. They're great for the upper abdominis, but they neglect the obliques, the serratus anterior, and the lower abdominis that are all necessary to give you that V-line ab.
And you see how the fancy words they use to get you in, right? And another thing I noticed about all these people too, do you notice that these people are lean? They're not overweight. You think someone overweight can have abs? The point there is you need to do something to not be overweight, right? You think doing a bunch of crunches will do that? You have to think about these things. It's fancy marketing words that gets people, but people that haven't done it will not think about stuff like that. Any of them mention diet? None of them.
Instead, do bicycles. Sitting up will hit the upper abdominis. Torso twisting is going to hit the serratus anterior and the external obliques. Bringing your legs to your torso is going to hit the internal obliques and the low.
All right, I can't do it anymore. When it comes to burning fat, you need to ingrain this in you. Calorie deficit. You need to find out what your maintenance calories is and make sure to be 300 under that each day or 5 to 7 days in a row to lose about 1 pound. It will take time, obviously, depending on how much weight you have currently, but this is where to start. You need to lose the fat on top of the muscle, assuming that you have muscle underneath the fat. A good thing to do when in a calorie deficit is to make sure your protein is high, so you retain as much muscle as possible, and your body is in a stage where it has to work harder to burn the protein, because protein has a thermic effect, which means that your body requires more energy to burn it. Okay, the thing I mentioned, thing that is good to note: patience. It takes time. It won't come overnight. Make sure to understand that when your goal is to have abs, you need to lose the fat, simultaneously build the muscle. It takes time, so you need to be patient. Key things when it comes to abs and being able to see it, weights training properly, and obviously being patient. Ab rollouts are really good. You can do it kneeling, standing if you get to that level, but kneeling is definitely going to hit your entire abdominal. Hanging leg raises done a specific way. As I mentioned at some point during the video, people do it incorrectly, basically swinging their legs up and down. There's a way to do it to make sure you're hitting your abs. Good one to add is weighted cable crunches. Abs are a muscle, so you need to make sure resistance is applied, force it to grow. Breaking it down during that session and while you're resting and it's healing, it grows bigger and stronger. Another thing I'll mention and see people doing that they shouldn't be doing is the obliques with weights. Don't do that. Due to the fact, if you build muscle in your oblique area, what do you think is happening? You're not going to get the V taper. You're going to get there, right? Giving you the illusion of being thicker, which you don't want. Avoid weighted oblique exercises unless you're twisting. When it comes to the leg raises and the knee raises, I prefer you to cater towards the knee raise in order to fix what I was talking about in terms of your hip flexors, because the hip flexors' primary function is to get your knee to your chest as much as possible. Don't want to over exaggerate that to the point your back is rounded. As you can see in the images here, the one on the left is basically what I explained, how your hip flexor essentially gets your knees closer to your chest. In order for the core to be fully involved, over exaggerated to the point your knee is closer to your chest and your back is rounded. Obviously, not everybody will be able to do this, so there's a different, easier version. Will regress to that version to master the movement. So you can do the same thing laying down, okay? So instead of hanging on the bar, you'll be laying down and essentially bringing your knees as close as possible to your chest to the point your back is rounded. That is when you hit your core as much as possible. Other things people don't mention, compound exercises. You need to do your compound exercises because it involves the core the most, especially lower body exercises. Your squats, your deadlift. And when I say squats, your front squats in particular, high bar squats are really good for this. Low bar squats are obviously do it, but high bar squats specifically and front squats. Deadlift, overhead press, standing. Common mistakes, I definitely stated some of these before, but high reps with the crunches you saw in the videos I reacted, so it's useless to do that. You don't need to do endless amount of reps when it comes to this exercise. You can just add weights to it to simplify the process and increase efficiency. A weighted crunches is a good to add to challenge the muscle, break it down so that it becomes stronger. Best way I can explain it. Standard sit-ups. I mentioned doing it incorrectly to the point your hip flexors is doing the bulk of the work. We don't want that. So the examples I provided above would be great replacements for that. For Russian twist, while it's a good exercise because it's a twisting motion and it really helps with your obliques, just be careful how you do it, especially under load because you can contribute to spinal disc herniation. And finally, the ones I mentioned before, heavy dumbbell side bends. Please avoid that. The reason is because if you develop muscles on your sides, it gives you the illusion of being thicker, which you don't want. That's it for all I can provide to help you not only lose fat, but be able to see what's underneath the fat. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you like this style of videos where I react to something and give you feedback based on my experience and expertise? Thank you so much for being here to this point. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more videos. God bless.